So over the weekend, as I'm
Jake
sure a
Paul
lot of you guys probably saw, I became the #1 trending topic on Twitter. People were mad at me because they assumed that me and my friends were looting, vandalizing, and breaking down storefronts. And that's the way it looked on camera. However, that isn't the case, and there's a lot more to not only that story, but there's tons of other issues and things that we need to address about what's going on with America right now. I just want to dive in immediately to say what happened to George Floyd isn't okay, and there needs to be change. There's no room in America for police brutality and racism. The fact that people still have a mindset to treat other people differently based on their skin color is absurd. And as someone who is a believer in change and making change, and someone who wants to take
Why is he deleting it? What the fuck?
action, I've always tried to use my platform to raise awareness for things that I believe in. It personally upsets me when people have the power to make a difference and they don't. It's easy to just post something on social media, which I've done. It's easy just to donate to a cause, which I've done. But I'm the type of person who wants to be ground floor and involved in the change firsthand. And this situation to me felt no different from when I went down to help with the hurricanes in Houston, to when I went to Parkland, Florida to be ground floor with the students there after they had a horrific school shooting. Since I was a kid, I've constantly volunteered for organizations, donated to charitable causes, and wanted to be involved in my community. And this George Floyd tragedy wasn't something that I could just look past. And being a filmmaker and someone who documents virtually everything that happens in my life to be able to share it with the world, I wanted to use my platform and film what was going on and what is going on in our country as we speak, to be able to share and spread the message to the world and raise awareness that we shouldn't just be standing.
Bitch, why would you raise awareness of looting then? Unless the awareness that you're trying to raise is like, look at these fucking looters. What is that awareness that you're raising, homie? Oh yeah, hey, I was just trying to raise awareness about the looting. So, you know, it's an important thing to talk about right now. Don't worry, brother. Local media's got you covered.
In there doing nothing. So when we heard that there was protests that were going to be taking place in Arizona, we wanted to be involved and show our support. The story of what happened is actually pretty simple, and it was twisted and exploited by the media to be something that it wasn't. Right around 10 p.m. when the protests were supposed to be starting, we followed people to where everyone said that the protests were happening. As we started to walk down the street,
by the way, there's no evidence of him looting. Yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm not saying he looted. If he didn't fucking loot, why was he still there to fucking film the looting? That's still fucked up.
Can someone please shut this brat up?
Blown away by what we were starting to see. The first thing I saw was when I looked to the right and saw that the side of a mall window had been completely shattered. Then as we kept on going, we noticed that all of the buildings in the whole entire area, the glass was completely shattered. Quite frankly, I was in shock and didn't know what to make of the situation. But we kept on walking because we still hadn't seen where people were protesting, and we still wanted to be involved. We got to a street that seemed to be the center of where everything was going on, and that's when I saw probably 80 cops standing shoulder to shoulder, just like looking out into the crowd. As I was approaching, more people were gathering the protest, and about 200 yards down the street from me was an Apple store that was getting completely ransacked. I saw dozens of people breaking down the glass, running into the store, grabbing whatever they could, and leaving. The battalion of cops was in between me and the Apple store. And
I like that in an instance where his brother's like, dude, Black Lives Matter unconditionally, fuck this nonsense. Like, his brother's like pulling out the fucking ACAB stops and shit. He's like, yo, ACAB, I stand in solidarity with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. And then young Paul is just like, the looting was devastating. They were ransacking the Apple store. Shocking images.
As I started to walk down the street more, all of a sudden out of nowhere I hear a boom and see this thing flying in the air at my feet. It lands 2 feet away from me, explodes, and like this big gas cloud comes, hits me in the side of the face. I start choking, coughing, running backwards, and was completely in shock at what the fuck had just happened. Here I am, just a person walking down the street, and all of a sudden I'm getting tear gas shot at me. This is when I got pissed the fuck off. This must just be a small fraction of what people are facing on a day-to-day basis with police. As I started,
it's so funny that like Jake Paul literally is a riot tourist. Okay, he went to a different part of the country. He is the unironic outside agitator. You know that, right? Like, he literally went to a different part of the country, got a fucking nice little mansion Airbnb to film himself looting, got tear gassed, and is now talking about it like this is, I can't believe I got tear gas while I was trying to go into the Apple store and loot. Now, on the one hand, I don't give a fuck when large businesses are getting looted in this capacity. I think that is not the main issue. But Jake Paul is focusing on that as though that is the most important thing that happened. Let's take a
Started
look
to
at what else he
retreat.
has.
There was 3 more canisters of tear gas shot at me and the group of people around us. At that point in time, not only was I pissed, not only was I in shock and not able to really see because my eyes were fucked up, but I just didn't know what the fuck to do, and I was documenting the whole entire.
I guess technically for Jake Paul, even if he stole, it doesn't matter because he's rich enough. You know what I mean? Like when rich people steal, when you know, venture capital firms steal, for example, that's completely understandable. Like not a single person will get upset when big firms go in and buy out small firms and loot half of the fucking half of the business force. That's fine. Like that's the regulated looting that is legal and totally cool. So Jake Paul having that kind of money is allowed to loot.
Thing. At that point in time, some of the strangers around us got pissed off as well and started throwing rocks and started throwing the tear gas back at the cops. Adrenaline still pumping, not knowing what the fuck is going on. I remove myself from that situation and go across the street. This is where I find about 15 people breaking down the front of a P.F. Chang's store. And this is one of the most absurd things I have ever seen in my fucking life. Some kid came up to me and asked me if I needed a first aid.
What the fuck? Aren't they like Jake Paul's friend? They look like little Jake Paul.
And offered me milk to pour into my eyes to help with the tear gas. Another girl's breaking down the front of the store. People are inside of it, trashing it, stealing stuff from the inside. Meanwhile, throughout this chaos, half of the group that we were with got separated and we were trying to locate them and find them. During all this confusion, chaos, sensory overload, sirens, things exploding, someone comes up to me while I'm filming, just hands me something. I didn't even know what it was at the time. To later find out that someone handed me a bottle of vodka. For what reason, I don't know. Seconds later, I set the bottle on the ground, still not even knowing what it is, and I continue to document what the fuck was going on. At that point in time, we decided to remove ourselves from the chaos and make our way back towards our car to go home.
Also,
However,
what is this apartment? What is going on? Did Jake Paul say Italiano rights or what, dude? What is happening? My man said Fredo rights.
the police had dozens and dozens of officers on each street corner, blocking off certain streets and not allowing people to go down certain
he's
areas.
living with Papa
After about a
John.
half a mile of walking, we see another battalion of cops and decide to go right, away from them and towards the mall. As we approach the mall, I see one of the most absurd things I've ever seen in my life. Hundreds of people running in and outside of the mall with bags, stealing everything inside of the mall. In hindsight, everything's 2020 and we shouldn't have been anywhere near what was going on and we should have removed ourselves from the situation. But in the heat of the moment, I wanted to...
Why did you film all of these people that were stealing and show their faces? Like, what a fucking... My man is just out here not even dry snitching. He's just wet. He's just snitching so hard, dude. What the fuck?
To document what was going on and witness it for myself. And that's where I made the poor decision to go inside of the mall. And at the time, my mindset was that I wanted to document this experience because I've never seen anything like it in my life. And I don't know if anything will ever happen like this again in our lifetime.
I'm just here to document it. I'm not doing nothing.
First of all, the vandalism and looting isn't helping spread the proper message. It's making the whole entire situation worse because it creates this loop and effect of more hatred and more crime. There has been peaceful protests and that just hasn't worked. That hasn't gotten the message across. But we are a young generation with social media and we are powerful and our voices are powerful. And together we can make a difference. I don't have the answers. I don't know if anyone has the exact answers, but I don't think looting, vandalizing, and breaking people's property is the way to go about this. What I do like is the accountability that this generation holds other people to. We can, with our voices, get an officer arrested for killing someone in a tragic way. We did that. We accomplished that. We can't start to focus on
How the fuck did Suicide Forest Andy have a better take on this matter than looting is wrong Andy over here? Oh my god, this is insane, dude. Incredible. This is the equivalent of racism is wrong the tweet. Okay? And then following it up by saying all lives matter. Racism is wrong no matter who's doing the racism. All lives matter. That's what he did right here.
The district attorneys that are in office, the sheriffs, the chiefs of police. We can make a difference through voting the proper leaders into our government. This is what's happening. This is our America. And right now is not the time to attack each other. Right now it's time to evolve and make change as a unit. And all those businesses who are being vandalized and broken into, who are just holding on by a thread because they already didn't have enough money to pay their employees because of coronavirus and quarantine, are now even more in ruins because of the vandalism.
Yeah, like Apple or Hot Topic or any number of the stores that he showed, like PF Chang's. What the fuck are you talking about, dumbass? Oh my
that they have
God.
to deal with now. There was an old handicapped grandma crying on the news because her local grocery store was completely ransacked and it's the only one in the area and she couldn't get any food. How does the destruction of property help this situation? And what does it look like for our communities to be able to come back and have to rebuild from all of this? And that's why the situation was so upsetting for me to wake up, number one, trending on Twitter, of people accusing me of vandalizing and looting and stealing. I'm above that. I don't need to vandalize, I don't need to loot, and I know it's not the way forward. However, I don't
need to
regret-
vandalize? Bro, he literally got kicked out of West Hollywood because he's
Lips
burning
smiling
fucking
on that.
mattresses and shit all day. What is he talking about, dude? I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
And I will continue to document things that I think need to be shared with America. If along that process people want to accuse me of things that they know I'm not doing because my name is Jake Paul, then so be it. I'm an easy target. I know I am. It sucks, but it's not going to stop me from doing what I love to do. There are certain situations and circumstances that I shouldn't put myself in, and I have learned from this situation, and I will continue to become a better person. All you can do when you make mistakes as a human is get better from them, but don't let your mistakes define you. I end this video challenging you guys to get involved, have a voice, donate, don't just sit there, make change. No one necessarily has all the answers, but we clearly as a generation want to make change, and we will continue to do so. Vote the proper officials in, protest, and get your community involved so we can make America a better place.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh my God. Also my fucking microphone fell off. It was so bad that my mic broke, dude.